Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BeerDad and Brewed podcast. As always, I'm your host, the BeerDad himself, Justin Allen, and I am joined here by my co-host, Sir Brandon from the hills of Agora. Brandon, how the hell are you?
I'm good, man. Sipping a beer, very close to the water.
I know we are close to the water. This is a very special show because this is the BeerDad and Brewed podcast on the road.
Yep.
We are going to do something we have not done, and that is visit several breweries in one day and record shows at every single one of them. And our first brewery that we are at is where?
Malibu Brewing Company, Malibu, California.
All right, we are here at Malibu Brewing Company, right by the water. Beautiful location, literally steps away from the ocean here in Los Angeles County. One of the most spectacular views you'll see from outside. But you definitely got to check this place out. We just got done eating, had some amazing food. Tell them what you had, Brandon.
Man, I had a grain bowl with mahi-mahi, and you had some mahi-mahi as well.
I did. The mahi-mahi was spectacular. Blackened in fish taco form for myself, and I just got done telling Brandon how amazing and probably the best tasting fish tacos I've ever had. Like, most flavor I've ever tasted in a fish taco. It's insane. The food here is ridiiced. Like, you don't expect that at a brewery for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the higher level. I know a lot of breweries, as we've been to and partaken in, are obviously getting into more of the culinary scene. Malibu Brewing Company is definitely at the top of the list in terms of
100%. We'll put up some shots and some videos so everybody can see, but just spectacular. And I'm sipping on a beer right now. I'm actually having Festivus, which is a tropical lager. And the best way I can describe the Festivus is when you first take a drink, it's just a light body, easy drinking lager. A little higher on the ABV for the lager purposes, but it is packed full of flavor. A lot of like tropical notes, as described, like guava and citrus, and just almost like drinking juice. It's really, really good. What do you think? You got Festivus as well.
Yeah, it's really good. It's like what you said. It's kind of like shocking in a way. Like it's got so many different flavors going on. It's very juicy. It's almost got like a juice punch kind of vibe to it, and yeah, it just like really finishes clean. And I think that's one of the big takeaways of the beer here at Malibu Brewing, that all the beers just are so clean, like really clean finish. I think it's like the water profile. Like I started out with a pale ale, and it just, man, that thing just like, it almost was like drinking like a cup, like a cup of water, like a fresh cup of water at the end. And I know that might sound bad, but honestly, like, I mean that in a good way. It just kind of like, yeah, super clean finish. I'm also drinking a triple IPA right now, just like a little sample size of it, and that too, like, I can't even believe that it's a triple. Let's see the ABV on this. It's an 11.5. That's nuts. It drinks like a 7.5.
Yeah, I took a swig of it, and I couldn't believe. I was like, wow, this is not a triple. Just super clean, rinses clean. A little bit of a booziness on the nose and a little bit that first initial taste, but then it just rinses clean, and you get a lot of those hop characteristics, and it's just really, really good. Very well done beer. I think they did a great job.
For sure. They said there's like, I believe, 7 different hops in here, and a hop oil, and all kinds of stuff going on in this beer. And
yeah, they're definitely not messing around when it comes to that, for sure. 100%. Like, absolutely crazy. So the first beer that I had was the Tower 17, which is their hazy IPA. It was really green, really grassy. But had like almost like a bubblegum finish to it, like just different. And the color on it was spectacular. I mean, perfect hazy IPA, and almost drank like a session IPA, to be honest with. We were talking about the clean flavors that are coming out of these beers. It's just amazing.
Yeah, like a hazy session.
That's right. And so the next beer that I'm going to have is the Kokua, and I looked on here. It's a West Coast IPA, 6.9%, and it was brewed to benefit the Maui wildfire relief. So, I think that's awesome that they did that as a good cause.
For sure.
Shout out to everybody out in Maui. I know that was a devastating thing that happened to our country. Devastating fires that happen out there. So cheers to people in Hawaii, and cheers to Malibu Brewing for brewing up Kokua to benefit them. But as far as color-wise, super clear West Coast style IPA. A lot of tropical notes that you get on the aroma.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Very, if I were to say I want a West Coast IPA with a little bit of Hawaii in my glass, that's what this would taste like. Go ahead and give it a try, Brandon.
Okay, yeah. I haven't had this one before. I've been lucky enough to come to this place a couple of times, and they actually, out in my area, they carry a lot of Malibu Brewing Company at like various liquor stores, and even the grocery stores all are starting to carry it now, so I've gotten to try a lot of their beers. I know I brought you and John a couple weeks ago the Rosé Lager.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of like their claim to fame here at Malibu Brewing Company. They do a Rosé Lager, which is just kind of nuts. It's like the perfect brunch beer.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, I'm going to try this beer right now. So Hawaii IPA. Okay.
Hawaii in a glass, and you'll see why.
Oh, yeah. That's like out on the beach.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I feel like not only do I get Hawaiian fruits, like little pineapple, maybe even a little bit of guava, but it just tastes like a tropical drink, like almost like a Mai Tai beer.
Right.
But you're also getting a little bit of some of those like hibiscus flowers and stuff like that. Like this feels, like I said, Hawaii in a glass, this is it. Kokua, Malibu Brewing Company, West Coast IPA, 6.9%. They nailed this one.
Yeah, that's really good. Is that your favorite so far that you tried today?
So far, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Absolutely. Now, I saved one here, last beer that you suggested, which is a green chili lager called Hatch, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I've had it before.
But this particular beer, the Kokua, is just insane. It is so easy drinking, even though it's close to 7%. And it's just, man, it's tropical. It's Hawaii. Like I just got back from the Bahamas, and this kind of took me back to the tropics. Like it took me back to white sand and turquoise water, Mai Tai style. This is, man, I love this beer.
Yeah, man. Might have to get some to go.
That's a damn good beer.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to try the Hatch Chili Lager.
It's coming up next, but I just want to talk about the brewery itself here. So it's in Malibu, right by the water. Great little venue. It's like a cafe. They have, obviously, the bar to sit at, but you're seated. Full-service restaurant. Amazing food, amazing appetizers. They got ribeye sliders. Of course, they got wings like any other place. They got hoagie sandwiches. You had a quinoa bowl with some mahi-mahi. I had the mahi-mahi tacos. Got some chips and salsa. I mean, overall, like, I don't think you'll be disappointed coming here when it comes to the food. I think their chef is doing an amazing job. And the beers, of course, the brewer here and assistant brewers, whoever's involved in the process, they're doing a great job. And we already talked about the cleanliness of it. I'll bet you if we saw the brew house, you could probably eat off the floor back there.
Totally. Yeah, it's a relatively new place. But yeah, I mean, just really cool vibes in here. Good, like, date night spot, you know, if you're out in the area, if you're out, like, in SoCal, like, Los Angeles area. Malibu Brewing Company, yeah, just, like, right on the water, really good drinks, really good food. Like, good place for a date.
I totally agree with you. I mean, one, taking your lady or your significant other down to the water is always bonus points, right? Or boner points, if you want to call it that. That always works.
You had some boner points potentially on your trip.
Yeah,
we might have to talk that on the next.
We might mention it, but shout out to Blue Chew. They are not endorsed by or do not sponsor the BeerDad and Brewed podcast, but shout out to Blue Chew. Cheers. But definitely come here, and obviously it's a great location being by the beach, but you can bring someone, the non-beer drinker here. They have non-alcoholic beers. They also have wine, and what I saw was beer cocktails, which I'm actually thinking about trying one before we leave.
We might need to. Yeah, we might need to.
But something for the non-beer drinker as well as the beer drinker. Obviously, the beers are amazing here. I encourage you to come here. So far, Kokua, number one in my heart, number one in my book here. This is an amazing West Coast IPA. So definitely try it out if they still have it. But I'm going to try this Hatch.
Yeah, please do. We were talking about a beer like this earlier today. I think like desert beer, right?
Yeah. Pepino con chili. Shout out to Devin out in Desert Beer Company. He's made that. He's also made a Hatch chili. Very innovative brewer out there at Desert Beer Company. So cheers, Devin.
Yeah, that's cool, man. As you sip that, I just want to say I was telling you earlier, but I went out to Desert Beer recently for the first time.
Yeah.
great beer and great people. Really hospitable over there. Really nice guys. Anybody that's out in like the Palm Desert area, Palm Springs area, Desert Beer. I know it's been shouted on the show many times before.
Absolutely, and Devin, shout out to you. I just saw you post. You did a benefit golf competition in which I believe you donated your beer, and you just posted a picture with Shooter McGavin himself at the golf competition. I thought that was awesome. I'm sure you used several Happy Gilmore lines with him while you were hanging out with him, but he was actually drinking Pepino con Chili. You can find the picture on all the social medias, Desert Beer. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So here I go. Hatch, Malibu Brewing. Oh, man. That is good. So a lot of times when you get beers with the chili beers, they kind of overdo the spiciness and they give you that almost instantaneous heartburn. And this beer right here, you get that flavor of, and I almost feel like, I don't want to insult anybody by saying that I'm not tasting Hatch chili, but this reminds me, this is going to sound crazy, of like an Ortega chili burger.
Yeah.
You ever had one of those where they put the Ortega chilies on top of your burger?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it tastes like. And it's good, and it rinses clean. It doesn't leave any spice. It doesn't give you any heartburn. That's a good beer. Really good beer. It pair well with the mahi mahi tacos for sure.
Right, exactly. I feel like that's probably one of the inspirations for why they brew it. I feel like it does go well with those like seafood offerings. Mahi mahi. They do a bunch of different like fish here. I think they have like fish of the day. You don't even get to pick your fish. It's like, all right, today catch of the day was mahi mahi. That's what we're grilling up. But yeah, I feel like that chili beer would go really well with any of the fish.
Yeah, it's insane to taste this. And here, I'll let you, since you didn't get any.
Yeah, I'll try
some of it. But how it comes in and you're just like, wow, there's that chili flavor. And it goes away. It doesn't leave any lingering spiciness. A little bit on your palate, but not very noticeable.
Right, that's what I like about it. It's not super spicy, even though I like the spicy chili beers as well.
Right.
This one is not here to like kick your ass. It's here to kind of like help you through your meal, kind of, or like complement or accentuate your meal a little bit. So I think that's what's really interesting and kind of rare about it, because most of the chili beers are there almost as like a novelty item on the brew list, the tap list, and kind of just there is like, oh, I dare you to try that beer. And a lot of them are good. I think you and I have an appreciation for them. Other folks appreciate them too. Some people not as much, but this one is more just like, I don't know. It's not like super spicy. It's there. It's going to complement your meal. So,
yeah, damn good beer. I mean, every single one that I had was good. I really like Kokua. I think it's still my favorite, but this is a close second. I'm pretty sure everything else would be good here. Like, I'm looking at this list, so Sand and Sea, a Mexican-style lager, 4.4%. I'm sure that's great.
It's really good.
Compliment.
Yeah, it's really good. So as I kind of mentioned before, they have a rosé lager that's kind of like their claim to fame. It's got this really beautiful pink finish when you pour it. It's like if you were to think of like a brunch beer, this is like the epitome of brunch beer. I know you I brought you and John a can of it recently, and we cracked into it. But they're kind of known for their IPAs, even though they can brew super competently in all styles here. IPA is kind of like their go-to, and like crushable. Most of their IPAs are on the lower mid end of the ABV. It's like something you can take to the beach, and surf to or hang out on the beach. That's kind of like their vibe here. That's kind of what our beer tender was telling us too. Like all of our beers here are kind of brewed for like beach life, beach culture. Yeah. So,
I mean, I get it. We're, like I said, steps away from the ocean here in Malibu, and everything's just complementing very well with the locale, the style of food, everything that they have to offer here, the vibe that you have when you walk into this, full-blown restaurant, and the staff here, just cool vibes all around. I mean, if I were a surfer dude, I would be here for sure. Well, I don't need to be a surfer dude, but here I am.
Gonna go grab our board shorts and our boards, bro. We're about to hit.
We're gonna hang 10.
Yeah, bro.
We're gonna hang 10.
Fucking grab some waves, bro.
Got to catch a wave and hang 10 here at Malibu Brewing, but this is stupid good beer. The food was ridiculous. Everything about it's really good, so I highly recommend it. Just going over their beer selection here still. So Pacific Gold and American Lager. They have looks like a bronze medal winner at the beer festivals here. Happy Days Honey Blonde Ale.
Yeah.
That's probably good too. They also have the Lost and Found California Blonde Ale. You had the Canaan Connection earlier, which is a collaboration with Ladyface. We've had Ladyface on the show before.
Yeah, I fucking love Ladyface, man.
And you were explaining the name of the beer is actually a street that connects from here to where Ladyface is. So that's kind of a cool name for a beer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Malibu is at the bottom of the canyon. Malibu Brewing Company is at the bottom of the canyon. If you shoot up that canyon, you'll get to Ladyface Brewing Company, another great brewery and another great restaurant with lots of good food. So it's kind of cool. You know, if you're at the bottom of the canyon or the top of the canyon, you got good beer and good food waiting for you.
Awesome. So then you roll out. So these are the hoppy selections. So Canaan Collection got Wild Grove, First Point, and then Tower 17, which is the first beer that I had. Third Point, the triple IPA. And then we go to Malty. We had the Festivus, which we had.
Yep.
Amazing beer, tropical lager. I like this. Thank you, Fritz. It's a California Common. You don't see that too much on a menu, and I love that they have a California Common, so that's really good.
Yeah. Out in this area, actually, there's been not necessarily Malibu, but just kind of like this like Conejo Valley community. California Common is kind of popular. There's a couple breweries like out in this area that do California Commons. I haven't had Malibu Brewing Companies yet, but yeah, cool style.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And here's the one for all those high ABV freaks. You got the Old Sycamore, a barley wine style ale at 12.9%. They will only give you 7-ounce pours of that, and I can see why, because that's a pretty high ABV.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the Stargazer, which is a nitro stout that has lactose 4.4. Sounds very similar to like a nitro style Guinness.
Yeah.
Easy drinking, but super milky and creamy.
Yeah, I've had it before. It's good.
And then Canyon, which you had mentioned before, the rosé lager that we had recently that you brought us. There's also a Westward fruited Berliner Weiss. That's a nice 3.7 easy drinking sour right there.
Wow. Yeah.
And then Hatch, of course, what I'm drinking now is a green chili lager at 4.4%. And this is funny. I love it. I'm sure you'll love it too. But Zuma, it's a agave hard seltzer. And I'm trying to think. I wonder if that's a stab at the old Zima.
No. So there's a beach. Actually,
Zuma Beach?
Yeah, Zuma Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe
beach
it'd be for Zima, but yeah, you're right. There is a Zuma Beach.
Yeah. We're pretty much on Zuma Beach right now.
Okay, so an agave hard seltzer, so you're going to get some of those margarita vibes out of that one if you're going to taste it. That's probably what they use when they make their beer cocktails. I'm going to take a look at some of them. So there's a chili pineapple burrito. So that's going to have the Hatch green chili lager with a honey pineapple puree and candied pineapple sugar rim. Sounds like something that will take me back to the Bahamas right there.
No kidding.
Then the Canyon Spritz, which is a Canyon rosé lager with strawberry puree topped with Prosecco. For those wine lovers, you got a lavender shandy. Who can't do that? I'm not a big fan of lavender, but somebody's gonna love it
for sure.
Happy Days honey blonde with lemonade, lavender, simple syrup, and dehydrated lemon garnish. And last but not least, you have a tropical sour, Westward Berliner Weiss, strawberry basil puree, and candied pineapple sugar rim. That sounds pretty good too.
It does sound good. That
really does sound good.
Yeah, that sugared rim.
The chili pineapple and tropical sour, like those are kind of back and forth on which one I'd want to try. And then, of course, they do flights like anywhere else. You can do a custom flight, or they have the brewer's flight or the house flight. And then for all you non-beer drinkers, we do have wine here at Malibu Brewing, a nice list of different types of wines. And then also for the non-alcoholic drinkers, there is Malibu Brewing's version of their hop water is available here. And then they also have some NA beers. So they have a hazy IPA, and they also have a NA cocktail. That's always funny. I always just think, is that just fruit juice? What that entails. It's called the
it's
Gia.
literally, it's got to be literally fruit juice.
And for the kiddos, since this is a restaurant, you can bring your children. They do have full soda list as well as Shirley Temples. I always used to love drinking those when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, and there's it's definitely a family vibe here. There's like a little field out, like a little grass field area where the kids can play while you're hanging out here. So definitely a place you can like come and hang out and then hit the beach before or after.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good vibe.
Definitely awesome. Well, I thank you for bringing me here to Malibu Brewing, one of our first stops of the day. Check it out. It's right off of, what is this, PCH right here? The Pacific Coast Highway?
Pacific Coast Highway. I guess, the closest canyon to get here would be Canaan.
Okay.
But you can also get here from like the 405. You take the 10 west.
Yeah.
And that just becomes PCH, and you just ride a beautiful ride up PCH until you get here. And that's pretty much it.
I love it. Well, thanks for bringing me here. And everybody check out Malibu Brewing in Malibu, California, right on the ocean. Come here for their amazing beers and their even more amazing food. Cheers, buddy. We'll catch you at the next stop.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, surf's up, buddy. All right, and we're back on our lovely Los Angeles road trip. And we are here at another brewery. We just got done with Malibu Brewing in the beautiful Malibu, California. And we just made our way right down the coast, right by the pier. We are at Santa Monica Brew Works.
Yeah, Brewworks. Sorry, Santa Monica Brewworks.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. We're going to do a show with them very, very soon, but just a quick spotlight of the brewery here. Really cool location, not too far from the Santa Monica Pier, and in a little industrial area. Really large brewery, huge brew house. I'm looking at several fermenters back there, and we've already had a couple beers that we sampled. Really good. The Black Gold I had is amazing. I believe it won gold at the California Beer Cup, so awesome stuff there. But we got a flight to get through here that you went and procured for us. So the first beer that we're going to be trying is the PCH. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so PCH is it's got a double meaning. PCH is obviously Highway 1 here in California,
right?
Pacific Coast Highway. But for this beer, it's also got a secondary meaning. It stands for Pale Chocolate Heaven. It's a golden milk porter. This is one of their they have 4 core beers. This is one of their 4 cores. And it's an interesting beer. I'll be honest, I wouldn't say it's my absolute favorite or my go-to when I come here. It's a good beer.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was kind of interesting, and I thought we should try it. Curious what you think of it. So, yeah.
I like it. So it's a golden milk porter. So we've had a golden stout, several golden stouts on the show. I know one of our favorites, shout out to Noble Ale Works down in Anaheim, the Naughty Sauce, really good golden stout. So I'm thinking maybe this might be somewhat similar, but wow, brewed with 100 pounds of cacao nibs. This should be interesting.
Yeah, so super similar to Naughty Sauce. And,
little chocolatey, little vanilla on the aroma. That's good. I'm similar to Naughty Sauce, but not too similar to Naughty Sauce. Naughty Sauce, I feel a little more crisp. This is a little more mellow. But I really like the vanilla aftertaste. I don't know if you catch that.
Yeah, let me go back in. Yeah, it's definitely got a creamier kind of aftertaste to it.
Yeah, and I'm reading here in some of the notes, we got a vanilla bean and chamomile to provide a silky smooth finish. And I definitely get the vanilla on there. Don't know about the chamomile. I'm not a big fan of chamomile, but this is good. I like that finish.
Yeah, I don't get too much vanilla on this. Maybe a little bit. I definitely get the chamomile, though, like a tea or a floral kind of vibe that's subtle. But yeah, I really like this beer. I just think it's kind of ballsy of them to put a beer like this on the tap list and make it one of their 4 core. Clearly, it's popular.
I could see how you could get somebody that's not into beer to drink something like this.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely has a distinct flavor. It's not. I hate to use the word beery, right? When you talk about traditional bready, beers like a lager or a pilsner or something like that, where people are like, I don't like the taste of beer, and you could say, well, try this. It's got a little bit more flavor, especially with the cacao nibs, a little bit of vanilla, just different. Because it looks like a beer, definitely clear, very, very similar to any kind of maybe a Marzen style beer, almost, maybe a little lighter on the color, but definitely the flavor, it'll get you. It does not taste like a regular standard beer.
Yeah, and again, it's a golden porter, so it pours golden, and it looks like a lager, or it looks more like a traditional beer, and it doesn't look like a porter. So, or porter in your traditional sense. So, yeah, it's just a unique beer. I always love trying a beer like this when I see it on the menu. And again, similar to Naughty Sauce, certainly different, but whether you're at Noble or Santa Monica Brew, it's a cool one to try.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely dig this one. Kudos to Santa Monica Brewworks for the PCH, the Pale Chocolate Heaven, which is a golden milk porter at 6%, 22 IBUs, really good stuff. So go ahead.
Well, yeah, so this next one that we're about to get into, it's called Head in the Clouds. It's a double hazy.
Ooh.
It's one of my personal favorites. It's one of the first beers that I had when I came to Santa Monica Beer Works, and it's pretty widely available, at liquor stores, grocery stores around here. It's definitely one of my favorites. I really like it. I'm curious what you'll think. I would say it's probably their most popular, if not one of their most popular beers. Juicy double IPA. Yeah, and there's some of the hops there too, if you want to take a look.
So when I smelled it, and I was thinking there's got to be some kind of New Zealand type hops, and I'm looking at Wakatu hops in there. I don't know why, but every time I smell something with New Zealand hops, it's very melony, and I think this is going to be a good beer, and I haven't even tasted it yet. But Summit, Citra, Mosaic, and Wakatu hops, award-winning juicy double IPA. This is what all those juice heads like in their IPAs. I'm looking at it, and I can't see you through the glass. It's so thick, right?
Exactly.
So let me dive in. Oh yeah, very mellow, very balanced, very thick, pillowy mouthfeel, if you catch my drift. But man,
oh yeah, that's what I want in my hazy double IPA right there. Yeah.
If you're a fan of the New England style IPA, or hazy as we call it here on the West Coast, or murky if you're from San Diego,
right?
Whatever you want to call it, it's a good beer. Definitely check this one out. Head in the Clouds at Santa Monica Brewworks.
Isn't there a brewery that either tried or successfully trademarked murky?
Yes, Pure Project down in San Diego.
Okay.
So their murky IPAs are a hazy or a New England style, and they have the trademark on murky. So I think it's cool in a way, only because I always thought it was funny that we call them hazy IPAs here, and it's more of a New England style IPA. Like if you're talking about brewing, that's the style that it is, or if you enter it in a competition, some competitions now will call it a hazy IPA, but it's funny when you go on the East Coast and you order an IPA, that's what you get.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like anybody owning a word. Not a name. I understand trademarking a name, but a word.
Just
especially
the word.
In the beer, especially in the beer community, man. It's such a, as we both have experienced, it's such a supportive community. Everybody wants to help each other. Everybody has each other's backs. Want other brewers to succeed because it's good for the business.
I think they were just going for they want not necessarily exclusivity, but they just wanted to be different. Everyone's calling it a hazy or a New England, and they just were like, let's put our stamp, our San Diego style on it. We're going to call it a murky IPA or a Merc Shake IPA. I kind of like where they're going with it. I don't necessarily think they really needed to trademark it, because I don't really see anybody else trying to call it a murky IPA. But Pure Project's a great brewery as well.
For sure. Shout out to them. I don't mean to disparage them at all, but yeah, it kind of reminds me of when Stone tried to trademark
the name
Stone. Yeah, there's a brewery that I love that's kind of out in my area called San Fernando Brewing Company in the city of San Fernando. And they have a beer that has the word Stone in it. I'm blanking on the name. And it's named after one of the mountain peaks that we have out in the San Fernando Valley. and
they got
Stone tried to sue them. Yeah, they got a cease and desist. Yeah, I just thought that
Stone went hard
so
for
shitty,
a while.
man.
I think anything with the name Stone in it. I know there's a brewery, Temecula, Riverside area called Stone Church. I think they got a cease and desist. And I remember reading a story about a very small town brewery somewhere in the Midwest, and literally their name, Stone, was like the secondary part of the name. It was like something Stone, and it was something to do with the community like you were talking about. And I remember reading that story online, and I was just like, really? They sued like little mom and pop brewery in the middle of nowhere? Ain't nobody trying to copy the Stone name for, I just thought it was crazy. I'm kind of glad, that kind of got grounded after Sapporo took over Stone, and I feel like they're just focusing on hammering out as much beer as they can, so it's probably a good thing, because the whole cease and desist thing was silly. Of course, we know we were affected by the cease and desist thing thanks to Warner Brothers. Can't talk about Chevy Chase and Randy Quaid, but we can talk about beer. I don't know, it's weird.
It is weird, but it's weird times, and thankfully we have beer.
That's right. Like this Head in the Clouds Hazy IPA from Santa Monica Brew Works.
Yeah, so to talk about the brewery a little bit, I've been here several times. It's pretty close to where I live. Really cool vibe. Probably one of the first craft breweries out here, kind of like in this like beachy community. We just got back from Malibu Brewing Company, which is a much newer brewery. Santa Monica Brew Works is about to celebrate their 10th anniversary this year. It's 10 years, which is really cool. They've done a lot for like craft beer, just like out in this kind of little beach community. Like, I haven't been here in about a year and a half.
Okay.
And the way that they've grown is crazy. Like, they've almost doubled in size just in terms of like their footprint. Yeah. Now they have this really cool restaurant. You and I were admiring some fries that walked by.
Yeah. They were looking pretty good.
Yeah, they have this like little pizzeria and restaurant, secondary like spot next door to them. So I'm just proud of them, because like they started out like really scrappy, kind of just like a bunch of surfer dudes that kind of came together and were like, we love beer. It's one of my ladies' like favorite beers here. They brew this beer called Rip City.
Yeah,
which was a skate shop. Yeah, shout out. There was a skate shop here in Santa Monica called Rip City.
Rip City.
All right. And they I don't know what the connection was, but they brewed a beer either in honor or in collaboration with the shop.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer around, and it's a really good beer. It's one of her favorites. So they just
I'm looking at this sign over here, and it's totally hit me with like the Santa Monica Pier and surfing, and I think I mentioned to you earlier, like the old school like OP brand, and like the cool like, gosh, what was it, TNC Surf or something like that? I can't remember. Back in like the 80s and 90s, like with the turquoise and orange colors. I'm looking at this sign over here, Santa Monica Brew Works sign. It's got the beer can on a floaty with a beer in his hand in the ocean with a couple of shark fins, and then there's also like, skull and crossbones underneath the water. I just think this is really cool. I love the vibe. Totally love the vibe. So
it kind of feels like a little like surf shop when you walk in. Yeah. Maybe a little bit less so than it used to back in the day, because like I said, they really have doubled in size, and they have a lot more infrastructure than they've had in the past.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it kind of felt like you like got off the beach and you walked into like a little surf shop or skate shop, and it's just good vibe in here, man. And really nice, cool people too that work here. As you mentioned before, we spoke to I believe he's the marketing manager, Johnny.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. Really would love to, do a show with them in the future. I think we have that in the works. So, yeah. Yeah,
I can't wait to put something together and do a show here and fully spotlight the brewery and take a tour and all that kind of stuff and see what they're all about. So far with the vibes and everything that you're talking about, I really like this place. Really cool spot. A lot of people don't, know too much about the LA craft beer scene. Obviously, our show focus heavily in San Diego and Inland Empire area, and because of you, you kind of brought us on to a lot of Los Angeles area breweries, and it's a vibe very similar to San Diego. A lot of people, when you think of Los Angeles, you think concrete jungle, high-rise buildings, a bunch of homeless people, and the Dirty Dodgers. That's what you think of when you think of LA, right?
Oh, you had to throw it in there.
I had to. But when you actually, come around and, all the breweries that we've been to, we did an amazing show with 14 Cannons and Nick Bartoloni, the former head brewer co-owner, who is now on to bigger and better things as they sold the company. Waiting for him to make his big announcement soon. But great brewery up there in Westlake Village. You know, there's we were at Malibu Brewing right on the water. You know, totally not the concrete jungle that everyone thinks of Los Angeles. And I'm excited. We're going to make one more stop, which is kind of in a concrete jungle. Maybe we'll make more than one stop. Who knows? But this location here, you're close to the Santa Monica Pier. It's kind of a far enough away from the riffraff and traffic of the Santa Monica Pier. Not too bad. I mean, you found a parking spot super quick. It's in an industrial complex, really easy to find. So definitely come down and check it out. Lots of room, lots of space. You can bring your kids. We saw a little dude walking around, kind of running the brewery.
Yeah.
So very family friendly. The food looks amazing. So come check it out. And if I can find, they do have it in a shirt. Perfect. I might have to get myself a shirt because I really like that Santa Monica Brewworks logo with the can.
I think you should.
Inner tube.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I would rock that 100%.
Yeah, that's a new logo too. The classic logo is like on that little tin right there.
The sun,
Santa Monica,
with the dorsal fin sticking out of the water.
No, to the right, that tin over there, you see like the blue and black.
Oh, yeah.
Dark blue. Yeah, that's kind of more their classic logo. So they kind of have, it seems like 2 or 3 different logos going on now. But
I'm just looking around. This is such a cool place. Definitely could see why you wanted to bring me here, and I'm looking forward to setting something up. It was nice hearing from Johnny and that they want to do a show with us. I think it'd be great to spotlight this brewery and really do a full show. You know, maybe have their brewer on the show and whoever wants to join us, and you know, tell us the whole full story of Santa Monica Brewworks, because this is a really cool spot. Lots of awards have been won here. I've seen they've got up on the wall a lot of their award-winning beers. Some of the fun ones that I saw we were talking about, and actually we're going to have one right now, which is next one we're going to have is a collab that we have is a shandy.
Right, that's coming up. This one that we have now, though, is a sour. I'll get into it. So we're
going to have a guava pina, I believe.
Yeah, guava pina sour ale. Let's see. Yeah, tart and crisp with waves of guava and a punch of pineapple. Pairs perfectly with sunglasses and flip-flops.
I like that. Sunglasses and flip-flops. Definitely could see that. It is a very puckery sour. It hits you in the back of the jowls. More of a traditional sour, and I'm sure it's a kettle sour, so they probably use like a Colt or yogurt or something to achieve that effect. But yeah. I like how it hits that traditional sour note. When you're the back of your jowls like light up on fire because you're like, wow, this is a puckery sour beer. Definitely something you got to check out if that's the style you're into, or if you want to rinse your palate and shock your system in between some of the heavier beers. This is something for you. Or for the non-traditional beer drinker, if you're looking for something a little bit different, a little more off the wall, this is it. It's very tropical. If you like guava juice, if you like pineapple juice, you're gonna like this. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. I like it a lot too because it's not super sour. It's just sour enough.
Right.
And I love sours. I know a lot of people kind of dislike them.
Yeah.
And I understand why. The critiques are valid in a way. You know,
Absolutely.
We've all had those sours where like, whoa, that was a lot.
Yeah.
This is not like that. This is very drinkable.
Yes.
Yeah. Not necessarily crushable, but it's like just something you can kind of sip on and not be like overblown with. You're still getting that sour punch. But it's not like, whoa, because even though we're sharing a taster, like I could easily drink a pint of this and be okay, and you know.
Oh yeah, and something like this you could have fun with. Maybe to hit the palate of the non-traditional beer drinkers, maybe line the rim with some rock salt, like a margarita.
Ooh, oh yeah,
or maybe
margarita for sure,
or something like that. You could appeal to both crowds. You might even make a michelada out of this.
Yeah,
it'd surprise you. But yeah, this is definitely it's a different style. If you're not into sours, probably skip it because it's really tart.
Yeah.
But if you want something different, give it a try. Guava Pina, Santa Monica Brewworks.
Yeah, and I saw they had a pineapple version of this too. Obviously, we were like, oh, should we go guava? Should we go pineapple? But kind of cool that they brewed, a similar beer with 2 different fruits. And yeah, glad we went the guava route. But I'm sure the pineapple one is great as well. And
you know what I like about this sour? That first sip, it definitely crushes your jowls, and you're like, holy shit, this is a sour. as it rinses, it doesn't rinse 100%, but what it leaves, a stain on your mouth instead of a hoppy, bitter flavor that some beers can leave you, guava juice.
Yeah.
It's like I just drank a little glass of the old Jumex guava juice.
Right.
And yeah, definitely different experience for you beer drinkers. Check it out, Guava Pina. It's different.
For sure. Yeah, another note on this place, you know, like Malibu was more like your date night place. You know, you and I kind of went on like a little lunch date over there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of like a more romantic spot. Santa Monica Brewworks is cool because it's a great place to have a birthday party.
Yeah. Large gathering.
Like gathering, work celebration, anniversary celebration.
Or maybe like a wedding.
Yeah. This is like a great spot to like feel like, oh man, I got a group of people who want to go out for some beers for a birthday. Like this is the spot for sure. Yeah, and like, you know, even if you got some like non-beer drinkers in the group, they got stuff to take care of you, you know.
Yeah, it's all sodas and different things that are available for the kiddos and non-beer drinkers, so I think you're fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So
we got
the last
one more.
one was the collab that we were talking about, and I thought this was cool. So usually like a Shandy or a Radler, I'm hit and miss with them. They don't always hit the palate. But what you intrigued me with this one is when you told me that it was a collab with
Hot Dog on a Stick.
I was like, holy shit, because I love that place. Literally, just recently, right before we went on the cruise, we had to go to the mall to get new the little glass cover for our cell phones. They replaced them because they're under warranty. I saw Hot Dog on a Stick sitting over there, and I was like, I haven't had a lemonade in years.
Yeah.
So I went over there and I got me a large. I did a mix of cherry and lime. I don't know if you've ever done that. It's spectacular.
No, I've only had like the traditional.
Red and green, so you know you mix it and it's quite colorful. Looks like a tropical drink. But the cherry limeade with the cherry lemonade and the lime lemonade it pairs very well together. They actually had a blue raspberry one that was like Jolly Rancher flavor. And I almost got that because I never had it, but my favorite is to mix the lime and the cherry. And it came out great. So when you said that, I was like, oh man, I love it. And one of my favorite things, I'm a weirdo, and I don't know if you're like this too, but when I go to Hot Dog on a Stick, I never order the hot dog on the stick. I always get the pepper jack on a stick. I don't know why, but that melted pepper jack inside the corn batter is so damn good.
Damn, I've never had. I just had like the hot dog and the lemonade.
Yeah.
I'm a basic
next time
bitch.
You go, listen to BeerDad's advice. Order a pepper jack on a stick and a half cherry lemonade, half lime lemonade, and your mind will be blown forever.
Sounds like a great day at the mall.
Yeah, and do some shopping.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. All right, so here we go. This is called the.
It's called 310 Stomp Shandy. They call it that because the 310 is their blonde ale.
Yes.
I should say it properly. The 310.
310.
Which is the area code out here in this little section of Los Angeles.
Santa Monica's area code, the 310.
Yeah, Santa Monica, Century City, some of the other like towns around here. So yeah, they have a blonde ale that's part of the core four that I referenced earlier.
Yes.
So they take that blonde ale and they combine it with the lemonade from Hot Dog on a Stick.
Holy shit.
So they make a shandy. We've talked a little bit about shandies before. It's good. I've had it canned before. I've never had it on draft, so I'm excited to try it on draft. I'm excited for you to try it.
I'm excited too. I can't believe they freaking put Hot Dog on a Stick in a beer. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm glad we're having this. All right, here we go. Very lemony. Oh man, that's crazy. When you look at it, it looks like a beer. Straight 100% beer. Even though it's a shandy. And your first initial taste is just like an amazing carbonated lemonade. That's insane.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
With like a little booziness at the end. Yeah. Like, wow.
I'm pretty sure the wife would get down on this because she loves Hot Dog on a Stick.
We need to bring her some home.
I might. 4.3%. That's crazy. Santa Monica Brew Works, you guys are effing with all kinds of stuff here. That's pretty crazy. We have hot dog on a stick and a beer. Never thought I'd see that. Never thought I'd live the day. Now, I've seen some crazy shit in the beer industry. I've seen some Lucky Charms thrown into a stout. I've seen tricks, milk sours from Rar Brewing that pours like, it looks like you're pouring the milk from your cereal. Like, I've seen some crazy shit. Never thought I would see hot dog on a stick and a beer. And here we are at Santa Monica Brew Works, and we're having hot dog on a stick and a beer. That's cool.
Yes, sir.
Good choice.
Yeah.
You know, I love, you know, obviously we know we love traditional beer, and this is it's a craft beer podcast, and I like to brew traditional beers. But this is just so funky and cool. You know, I wish Josh was here because he'd probably say this is fucking epic. Because, and I know he would, because he liked the weird shit. The only weird shit he couldn't get on board with was the pickle beer because he hated pickles.
Yeah.
But this right here is really cool, so kudos, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, very, very interesting. And it's become really popular for them too. They started canning it a lot. It's, you know, in addition to some of their core beers,
I can see it for sure.
Yeah, it's, you can definitely, this is one of the ones you find a lot.
They're gonna have to, if you guys are listening, and then maybe when we do the podcast we'll talk about it, they're gonna have to do my combo. If they can do a shandy that's a combo cherry lemonade and lime lemonade, the color's gonna be amazing, and man, it's gonna be crazy. They gotta do it. They have to do it. They gotta try it.
For sure.
100% for sure gotta try it. But this was good.
Yeah. Well, cool spot. We got more beers, more places to go, but we enjoying our time here.
We got to jump back into Brandon's Shaggin' Wagon and start cruising more of Los Angeles area and hit up another brewery, maybe two, who knows. We'll see what happens. But shout out to Santa Monica Brew Works. You guys are awesome. We'll look forward to doing a full show with you guys. Keep doing what you're doing because all the beers that we've had here today have been phenomenal. Great job. Cheers. All right, Brando, here we are. We are at our third stop on this LA road trip of ours. And we are at a really cool brewery because it's a brewery that's been featured on our show before. We were just talking about it. One of the BeerDad's personal favorite West Coast style IPAs. I'm actually looking at some signs here on the wall. They have it featured. Multiple award-winning West Coast IPA, and it is the Mayberry IPA down here at El Segundo Brewing in the city of El Segundo. Imagine that, named after the city.
We've done a lot of that today, right?
We have,
a lot of
we were in Malibu, we were in Santa Monica, and here we are at El Segundo. So that's really cool, and I'm really excited to finally be here in person. It's the first time I've actually been with my feet stepping inside the hallowed grounds of El Segundo Brewing, and I'm really excited because in this same brewery, the most famous wrestler of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, has stepped in these hallowed halls and actually helped brew beer here, as he has put out some very famous beers here from El Segundo, basically put them on the map nationwide. I mean, you can now find El Segundo all over the country thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I think that's amazing to take a small mom and pop operation like El Segundo Brewery and put them all over the country where everybody can enjoy their beers, and I think that's really cool. And yeah, obviously huge fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin. We've talked about him many times on the show. God, one day would be amazing to have him on the show. I'd probably lose my damn mind. It'd be like one of those fangirls, like when my daughter goes to Morgan Wallen concerts and loses her shit. That'd be me. I probably wouldn't be able to talk. You'd have to do all the talking for me.
So Stone Cold Steve Austin is your Morgan Wallen.
He could be. I mean, he was, between all the different wrestlers, he was one of my favorites as a kid. I mean, you know, a kid growing up watching wrestling, you know, it was the Attitude Era, right, in the 90s. That was huge for myself, my brother. We were huge into wrestling, and Stone Cold was one of my favorites. You know, we were talking about earlier, you know, he appealed to so many people. Obviously, he cussed and threw up his middle finger, so as a teenager, you were really into that because that was awesome. And then later on, as an adult, you really got into him because he was always beating up his boss and going against what his boss has to say, and they just think that's really cool. But to have him in the beer industry, I think is really awesome, and El Segundo's awesome for bringing him in and having him do his thing. And we're actually sampling some beer of his, a brand new beer. It's the 316 IPA, which I think is really, really cool. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's really good. We were talking a little bit about it before. This is I believe the fourth Stone Cold beer that El Segundo has done.
Yeah, so they've done the Broken Skull IPA, Broken Skull Double IPA, the Broken Skull Lager, and now the 316 IPA.
Yeah, it's really good. We were talking before, it kind of has sort of potentially some roots in like the Mayberry IPA with like a maybe differentiation in like a hop or two.
Right.
But very similar. Super crushable, clean light. I mean, this is like...
If you're into West Coast crushies, this is the beer for you, the 316 IPA. You really got to check it out. Actually, the hops were hand-picked by the man himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. How freaking badass is that? I mean, I can just picture him at the hop farm going through all the different hops and just like, you know what, this sumbitch tastes good, you know, just throw it in a beer, you know what I mean? Like,
you think he's got like a badass level? Like, nah, man, this ain't badass enough, and he like throws out a bunch of shit. And then
I think so. I mean, Stone Cold's a badass. He's been around in, you know, obviously the wrestling industry, movie industry, and you know he's a beer drinker by trade. So definitely think that he puts a lot of badass into these beers, and this one's no different. I'm actually going to have to get some to go. We'll have to take some. I love the can. For those of you that remember Austin 316 with the white writing on the black shirt, it looks just like the t-shirt. So really cool nostalgia throwback to all the wrestling fans. I think that's really, really cool. But we have a full flight here to go through that we're going to talk about different breweries. We got another 5 beers to go through. So the first one, number 1 here, if you guys have never been here, their flights are served in what looks like a house full of beer. I think that's awesome. But number 1 is going to be the Hard Maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember telling you this, we got to have this in our flight because I have never to this date ever, that was for Chris Jericho, had a hazy IPA from El Segundo Brewing. Have you ever had a hazy IPA from El Segundo?
I can't say off the top of my head. I've had the privilege of trying a lot of different El Segundo beers, particularly a lot of their IPAs. Like I was telling you on our way here, that I think they're one of the best, like West Coast IPA in particular brewers in the game right now. So I've had a lot of their different styles. I love their barley wines too. I don't know if I've ever had a hazy, so whether I have or I haven't, I'm really excited to try this one. I think we should dive into it.
Let's dive in.
You should do the honors.
We're calling it a Hard Maybe. So New England style hazy IPA. We're looking at the color, very
nice
light
pour.
hazy,
nice
not
pour.
Quite mustardy yellow like some of the ones that you see, or like the one we just had over at Santa Monica. Let's check it out. Okay. Interesting. So, man, I feel like I'm going to let you take this drink, and then I'm going to tell you what I feel like here with this hazy IPA from El Segundo.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like the mad scientists here, brewers at El Segundo Brewing, they went back and they were successful in mating a West Coast IPA with an East Coast IPA, and it had a baby. That's what that tastes like to me.
It's very sessiony. It's very light. Like, I'm really curious of the ABV. I guess I could look that up right here because
very light, very easy.
Oh, it's a 6.9.
6.9, so not too bad. Yeah, but that right there to me, it doesn't have that thick, chunky, milky New England style thickness to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it has the color, it has the flavor profile, it has the aroma, but it drinks like a West Coast, and I feel like they did a good job with this because I could get behind this style beer.
This would be something that, like, if you give to somebody that is a big West Coast IPA fan and is like, oh, I hate hazies. Hazies are terrible.
Absolutely. And I know just the person because they're all about West Coast, not a big fan of hazies, and I think they could really get behind that. So, you know, El Segundo's on the map for being one of the true West Coast kings. There's a lot of breweries out there, and obviously Stone, one of the pioneers of the West Coast IPAs out there. And if you guys listen, the folklore of the BeerDad and Brewed podcast, if you take it back to season 1, there is an episode where we featured all the heavy hitter West Coast IPAs, the best award-winning West Coast IPAs. And when I say these guys are powerhouses, the BeerDad himself, who is a San Diego native, and I'm not a fan of Los Angeles sports teams, but I am a fan of Los Angeles craft beer. Let me throw this Mount Rushmore of West Coast IPAs because there was Pliny the Elder, there was Blind Pig, there was Bell's Two-Hearted, and there was Mayberry IPA. Those are some big guys up there, and the Mayberry IPA from El Segundo was my favorite. The BeerDad over Pliny, over Blind Pig, over all of it. I love Mayberry IPA. Crazy. But they are true kings of the West Coast IPA, and they stack right up there with the big boys. So if you've never had El Segundo Brewing and you love West Coast IPAs, you have to come out here. But yeah, the hazy I feel like was like a West Coast hazy. That was kind of crazy.
I know, it's crazy, man. Like, yeah, it was like almost more hazy in its visual presentation rather than like its drink, the way it drank. But really good, man. Super crushable. And yeah, we're getting into our next one. Yeah,
we are. We're going to number 2. This is called Break of Dawn.
Break of Dawn. Yep.
And this is the Saison.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm excited for this because, like I said, I've only had mostly West Coast IPAs here from El Segundo, and you know that I like a good Saison.
Oh yeah.
They're usually crisp, easy drinking, lots of aroma into a Saison, and I love the whole brewing process of it. So it's one of my beer geek beer picks. So I'm excited to try this. Let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Oh man, on the aroma, definitely lemony. I'm already liking this. So let's see.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, this is like not a style that they're like super known for either. So yeah,
that's
what
nice.
do you think? Yeah, it's good.
That's nice. I explain this. If anybody's never had this style of beer, if you're like an herbal tea drinker, you're probably gonna love this. There's so much flavor going on. Like, to me, when I drink this, it's like a sparkling herbal tea.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's my best definition of it. My mother-in-law is a huge herbal tea drinker. She likes all the high-end type where you loose leaves and brew it, and I could really give her this beer and she would enjoy it. But this is phenomenal. Great job, El Segundo. I love a good Saison, and this is good. Really good.
It's so good. Yeah, sparkling tea with farmhouse hops. That's the best way to describe it.
It's delicate, huge aroma on the nose. It drinks very, very clean, but with a lot of flavor punch to it. It's got very lemony flavor, but with a floral flavor as well. So, like I said, an herbal tea. That's what I'm drinking right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's delicious.
That's damn good. Thank you. I mean, El Segundo, you're famous for your IPAs, but this is totally cool. Do not sleep on this when you come here. You got to check this out.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I mean, we've only had a couple of beers here so far, but that's my favorite beer of the night. Wow. Yeah, from El Segundo. Goddamn.
So damn good. Wow. That's good.
This next one we're getting into is called Nitro Ned. And it is a nitro stout, nitro vanilla stout. I've had it before. This is going to be your first time trying it.
Okay.
Nitro Ned. One of their core beers.
All right.
Yeah, they've had it every time I've been in the tap room. They've had it. And yeah, I'm a sucker for nitro. I really do love nitro beers.
Definitely on the nose, coffee, 100%. Oh, man. I know somebody that might like this beer. I don't know if she's had it, but Bex is a coffee lover.
Yeah, she has.
Oh.
We came out here together for the first time a couple of years ago. She brought me here for my birthday.
Okay.
And I had this on my birthday a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, we both really enjoyed it.
This is... And I don't want to discredit El Segundo, but if you ever get like a nitro cold brew pour from like your local coffee shop, that's what this tastes like. So if you're a coffee lover, you would love this beer. I mean, it's really, really good. Absolutely phenomenal. Velvety smooth, obviously, because it's poured on nitro.
Right. Wow, that's even...
But full of coffee flavor.
This is because when you and I were looking like, okay, what beers do we want to try? I was looking, you kind of brought up Nitro Ned, and I was like, I don't know, because I enjoyed it the first time I tried it, but I wouldn't say it was my favorite beer that I had here. It's improved. It's really improved
so much,
since the last time I've had it. The flavors are stronger. It's like more nuanced. Like that vanilla really hits. That was one of my kind of like rubs last time. I felt like I didn't really get enough vanilla.
You know what would be
a perfect amount?
Absolutely insane. With an Irish car bomb with one of those.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, St. Patty's is coming up.
Yeah,
I might have to come back and do that.
Drop some Baileys in that bad boy, and holy shit, yeah, I'm gonna have to. El Segundo, when you listen to this show, definitely for St. Patty's, get you. Well, I don't know if you can do that here at a brewery. It might be illegal according to ABC, but holy shit, get some to go, you El Segundo fans, and drop some Baileys and do some Irish car bombs with that boy, because man, I'm just thinking that's like an ultimate Starbucks drink right there. Like,
right.
Shit. You got nitro cold brew with a little bit of Bailey's in there. Oh man, good stuff.
Yeah, it goes well for the weather tonight. Even though we're out in Los Angeles, it's a little bit of a chipper night. There's a chill to the air.
Even the BeerDad with his statuesque figure is a little chilly tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little cold tonight.
So this is the type of beer that adds a little extra layer to what you're wearing.
Yeah, that velvety smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Definitely.
flavors, man. That vanilla is just so good, man. And that it's like...
I like it.
It's really... Honestly, it's really improved. Again, it wasn't bad the first time I had it, but I was like, it wasn't my favorite. I would totally get a pint of this.
Yeah, if anybody likes a good, nice nitro stout, definitely check this out. You got to have some Nitro Ned at El Segundo Brewing for sure. This is really, really good. Good stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
What do we got? What do we got up next on tap?
Okay, we got 2 more on tap. I'm very excited to try both. I was telling you that, obviously El Segundo, we were talking, they're known for their IPAs, but they also have like a really, really good barley wine program.
This is the one.
This is the one. Yeah. So they do a barley wine every year. It's called Old Jetty.
Okay.
I believe they've done it since they opened. So
a little reference to the ocean out there.
Exactly. Yeah. Which we're not far from. I believe they've done this every year since they opened. I've tried every year since 2020. So I have not yet tried the 2023 variation of this. So this is going to be my first time. But yeah, really good barley wine. One night I drank a 2021 and a 2022 like back to back.
Oh my!
And
Did you wake up the next morning asking where the hell are you?
Yeah, I live to tell the tale. I might have done some damage.
He's still here. He's alive.
But yeah, I'm excited for you to try it. I'm excited to try it. Let's get ooh, wow. Nice like grain smell when you like. It's got like a real like legit like. Yeah. Just that smells like a craft beer. When you smell that beer,
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna dive in. I'm usually not huge into barley wines, but I've dabbled here and there. I can tell you my favorite barley wine I've ever had to this date is the Poorhouse San Diego. Is the Panty Dropper, 18.5%. That was ridiculous. So we'll go ahead and give this a try. Woo! That is a barley wine. It's really warm, especially with this kind of cold, chilly weather. I think that really goes well. Oh wow! I'm getting a lot of like cigar, little cherry, traditional flavors that you come off with a barley wine.
Right, cherry, date, caramel.
Yeah, very caramely. Yeah, but the dates give that caramel flavor as well. So there's a lot going on in there. And like I said, when it's warm, I say it's warm. We're chilly right now. You drink that, it definitely warms you up a little bit. And I think that's kind of the key to barley wine is it's a cold weather type drinking beer.
Right.
For those of you that never had it, really, really strong. It's not... There goes our recording device. Let's see if we're still recording. We are. The red light's still on. But it's perfect for this type of weather. So is it my favorite style of beer? Absolutely not. I'm not a huge barley wine fan, but this is drinkable and it's very, very good. Done very well by El Segundo. Yeah, and I just want to point out the lacing because I like to be a beer nerd. Look at that. It needs a nice little residue there, and this is a good beer. For somebody that appreciates the finer things in life, they'll appreciate this.
For sure.
Definitely a good beer. Cheers.
Yeah, I think El Segundo's barley wines are like some of my favorites that I've had. Like I love trying, like I said, like I tried the 2021 and the 2022 back to back.
Yeah.
Had a good night. Don't remember much. No, just kidding. Yeah, it was a good time. And
awesome.
Like I was really blown away because, like I said, they're known for like their West Coast IPAs, and I kind of went for it. I bought 2 bottles. And,
right.
Yeah, really good. And yeah, this the 2023 does not disappoint. It's like almost less boozy because it's been in the barrels a little less.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Good stuff. I'm glad you got to try it. And for the listeners, if you're looking for something that will just knock you on your ass if you drink 3 or 4 of them, this is it. Definitely got to try some Old Jetty.
Old Jetty.
Old Jetty. Think of the jetty outside by the ocean that the waves just kind of crash over, and that's what I'm picturing right now.
Yeah, what's cool too is most of the time when you come in, you can buy, past years. So, until they sell out. So it's, we're recording this in 2024. I'm sure they still have some 2022 bottles and some 2021.
That's cool.
So
I know somebody who would really get behind that, and that's Josh, and I'm sure he's here with us right now somewhere, watching, smiling, because he always liked weird shit, all right? And barley wine he had an affinity for, and I think he did appreciate this, and he's the type of motherfucker that would take this barley wine in a bottle and he would cellar it, and he would enjoy it like 10 years later. That's the kind of person he was.
I love it.
Yeah. So he would do stuff like that, and I think this would probably cellar very, very well.
Totally.
Yeah, most barley wines do. So if it's bottled right and they put the right fill level, and you have a good cellaring process, I think you could cellar this and really enjoy it, years later. But it's good. Yeah, like I said, I get a lot of cigar. I feel like anybody that's kind of in maybe on the Scottish whiskey side, they might get into something like this. The non-traditional beer drinkers that are more of the bourbon, the whiskey, cognac, stuff like that. I think they would really enjoy barley wine. This is right down their wheelhouse.
That's a really good call. Yeah, and this one in particular is somebody sitting in a leather armchair, smoking a cigar that's been hand rolled,
right,
and, cut to precision. And they know where the tobacco came from, and they know where the roll came from. And, and they're all right,
I could see that.
Let me pop this barley wine and pour it for my friends here.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but barley wine is kind of like the beer for the whiskey with a cigar drink type guy,
aficionados. I think is a good word for them,
for sure.
I just did the BeerDad just got back from the Bahamas. I went on a cruise, family cruise, celebrate some family birthdays / anniversaries, and did a whiskey tasting, and I feel that vibe from this. I feel like if you sat down some whiskey, bourbon lovers, some cognac lovers, sit them down and go through a bunch of different aged barley wines, I feel like they could get into it, and they might be like, I didn't know this existed in the beer world, so this is kind of crazy. So definitely got to check it out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and El Segundo, for those that have never been, it's a really cool city. It's right next to LAX airport in Los Angeles. It's really up and coming. It's got a lot of great little eateries and breweries. There's another brewery close by to where we are called Upshift that I was telling you about. They're really cool too. So you could do your own little brewery hop in El Segundo. Let alone Los Angeles. El Segundo alone has got its own little.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, our last beer is a barrel-aged stout. It's called Standard Crude.
Standard Crude.
Yeah.
So we're jumping into the Standard Crude here, and it is a barrel-aged stout. I'm just reading some stuff here, and it says that came out the bright tank December 17th and carbonated. We're going to get some characteristics with some single origin coffee notes coupled with blackberries. All right. So for all you coffee freaks out there, this might be the one for you.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's give it a shot. Let's go.
Go for it.
Let's see what my initial impression is on the aroma.
Nice pours on the.
It's funny. Lights. So this versus the Nitro Stout. The Nitro Stout, immediately coffee, 100% coffee, and most stouts are. But this one on the aroma, different. I totally smell berries.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally.
Okay.
I'm going to dive into this one.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Wow. All right, stout gang, stout season lovers. This is good. Wow. An imperial stout. It drinks like an imperial stout, but it doesn't feel overly heavy, boozy, no heat on it, which I like to point out, because sometimes with some of these stouts, you get in that 12 to 14% category, heavy. And technically Imperial, you can be like around 9-10% as well. But some of them are so boozy and so hot. This one's neither. And what I like is on the aroma, and you just smelled it, and maybe you think the same. All I get is berries. I don't smell any coffee at all. On the first initial sip, I get berries and a subtle coffee note, and in the aftertaste, what I get left on my palate is total coffee.
I get the berry that you're talking about. Specifically for me, it's like berry jam. So it's
right.
And then I get the coffee note at the end, and but it's like dark roast coffee.
Yeah,
maybe coffee that's been on the pot, like sitting there for a little, like it's like been warm for a long time, almost like burnt, but not in a bad way, in a good way.
Right.
It's like
I feel like best way to describe it for me. Here's what I'm going to call it. I would have called this something totally different. They call it the standard crude. I'm going to go Nutella and blueberry jam. That's what I taste.
Oh, yeah. Well, the standard crude, it's got to be like an oil reference, right? Like,
the oil.
It's like because it kind of looks like oil, right? Yeah. But it's good. It's standard crude is a cool name, but it doesn't do it justice.
I'm getting a little coffee. I'm getting the hazelnut, which is where I get the Nutella from, and I'm getting like the berry, 100%. I think that's crazy, and I don't know if they put berries in this. If they did, kudos. If they didn't, kudos on being a beer nerd. Josh was always into science and making things taste like something else, based upon the recipe. But this is really good. That probably one of the better stouts I've had in a long time. And me getting older, I've told you, I stouts was my favorite style for the longest time. So hard for me to drink these days. Once you hit your 40s, it's like your body says, fuck you. You are not drinking stouts anymore. Yeah. You're old as shit. You're going to fall apart. You can't have that no more. So I can appreciate it when I find a good one that's drinkable and doesn't like give me the bubble guts and make me feel old. This is really, really good. So definitely check out some standard crude here at El Segundo. This is really good.
For sure. Yeah, and they've done a couple of different types of this too. Let me bring this up here. Yeah, wow. So they've done one with cacao nibs and coconut.
Coconut, toasted coconut would be good in this.
They did one with coffee on nitro.
Okay.
They did one bourbon oak chips on cask. Ooh, I'm a sucker for a cask. It's raspberry funny. And cocoa nibs.
It's funny that we're talking about this beer. We're literally standing right next to their barrel program here, and I'm looking at several beers. We've probably got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 beers that are aging here in these barrels.
Oh yeah.
So it's great that we're actually trying something like that. But I love it. This used to be my favorite style, and I drink a lot of it, and it's really cool to have one. It's actually been a while. We haven't had it's been a while, I think.
I know.
Christmas, I think we had a stout. But this is really, really good, and it kind of takes me back. I feel like I'm being nostalgic right now.
Yeah.
Shit, this was my style for so long. I mean, I can remember going to breweries all the time, and all I ever wanted was stout. So like, I see a stout on the menu, and that's what I would order. But this one is super, super good. So if anybody's a stout lover, come on down to El Segundo Brewing and check this out. Standard crude.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really a testament to the brewers and the brewery that like just how many good beers they have and like how many different styles.
Sorry, that threw me off a little bit. Different.
Yeah, like all these different styles.
Yeah.
And how just like incredible they are, like across the board is. Yeah, really I truly wanted.
I would love to do a podcast here. I've reached out to El Segundo. We'll see if they ever want to do an episode with Lonely Old BeerDad and Brew podcast. I'm sure they will, because they make amazing beers. But what I wanted to do here was spotlight different things because they're so famous for West Coast IPA, and I think we truly spotlighted that this brewery is capable of doing so much more than IPAs, right? I mean, or West Coast style IPAs. We had a great hazy IPA or New England style, whatever the hell you want to call it, murky New England hazy, but it was really good. Like I said, it's like they took a hazy and a West Coast and they made them bang each other, and that was the result that they came out with, and it was really good. The Saison was phenomenal. I can't tell you, like, that beer was money for me. And the Nitro Stout was really good. We talked about doing Irish car bombs. The barley wine was wild and crazy. I'm sure it was everything you wanted it to be. And of course, the 316 IPA, hand-picked hops from Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold.
Right? You can't go wrong with that. That's fucking amazing. You know, when I drink the beers from El Segundo, like I'm like, man, it's crazy to know that beer is this good in LA, because, you know, being a San Diego kid, born and raised, you know, you talk highly of San Diego. It's the craft capital of the world, and it truly is. I mean, 300 plus breweries, including my own, down in San Diego County, and there's so much more out in the world, and that's why I love this show, because we spotlight breweries from all over the place, and I love that you've brought a lot of LA breweries into our life to share, because, you know, people travel. People go all over the place, and there's people that come to Los Angeles for many different things, just like I am. I'm here for work, and to not experience these breweries, like, it's a disservice. You have to go check them out, because LA is definitely doing it right as far as the craft beer scene, and El Segundo is probably one of the better ones here in Los Angeles, and not just because they're famous for their West Coast IPAs. You can try everything that they have, and I mean, I didn't have a bad beer tonight. What about you?
No, I didn't have a bad beer at all, because El Segundo doesn't brew bad beer. You know, you may have beers that you like more than others.
Oh, for sure.
But you can't. I feel like you can't say, like, oh, that was bad.
Right.
You know, you might say, like, oh, it wasn't necessarily my favorite or my kind of thing. But they brew so well here, such high quality. And yeah, like you said, you know, there's a lot of great breweries out in this area, and that's what I love about this show too, is, like, you know, we try to highlight that. And I feel like, that's one of the beautiful things about this craft beer, you know, revolution that's kind of going on, or like movement that's going on, is like there's so many great places everywhere. Yeah, you can get great craft beer everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
and what I want to tell the listeners is listen. You have to support local, and you have to support your local breweries, because mom and pop breweries, they rely on your business to stay afloat. It's a local watering hole. It's like Cheers, right? Like back in the day. There was no craft beer back in the Cheers days, but it really is. And they rely on you, because there's so many people that just go to a liquor store and they buy the InBev products. They buy the Modelo's, the Bud Lights, the Coors, all that kind of stuff. But there is great beer right around the corner. It doesn't matter if you're in Los Angeles, San Diego, Houston, New Jersey, Portland, Oregon, Detroit, Michigan. It doesn't matter where you're at. Go support your local breweries. I promise you, if you love InBev, if you love Budweiser, Bud Light, Coors, all that kind of stuff, if you love that, I 100% guarantee you're going to find a local brewery that is mom and pop, small business owned, and you will find beers that you enjoy and love, and maybe just for a little bit more on price wise, you know, you're talking $1 or $2 per pint more than, say, Budweiser, Coors, or whatever. Support these local watering holes, support these breweries. You have to go check them out, because you're going to find beers all over that are so amazing. You're going to find beers that when you're like, man, I want that Pliny the Younger, right? Everyone's lining up down the street for Pliny the Younger right now. And I love Russian River. I love everything about Russian River. Josh was a big fan of Russian River. But Pliny the Younger, it's a good beer. I'm not going to lie. It's good. But you can find an IPA similar to Pliny the Younger at anywhere, and I'm staring at one right now. Power Plant Triple IPA. I think that can stack right up with a Pliny the Younger. Yeah. And Vinny, you're the man. You are the pioneer of the West Coast IPA for all of us here in California, and your Pliny the Elder, Pliny the Youngers are amazing. A Blind Pig, I think, is better than both. But just go to your local brewery. You're going to find something that you love. You don't need to go anywhere. Just walk down the street, 5-6 miles from your house. I'm pretty sure you'll find a brewery that's some mom and pop shop owned. You're going to find a beer that you love. And so for everybody here in Los Angeles County, if you've never been to El Segundo Brewing, you have to come here because their beers are great. It's a really cool spot. And if you're a wrestling fan, come on. Stone Cold Steve Austin says that El Segundo Brewing is where you need to be, right?
Unless you're a sucker.
right? Because Austin 316 says this West Coast IPA just whooped your ass. There you go. There's my shameless plug for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I like it.
We'll have to cut that audio and make some kind of video out of it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But great stuff. So I'm glad you brought me here. I'm glad I finally was able to make it. I think we're gonna have some things to close it out, and maybe we'll stop somewhere else.
Yeah, I think we need to. So this may or may not be the end. Yeah.
All right.
You'll know.
Stay
you'll
tuned,
know, viewer.
Los
Listener.
Angeles road trip, craft beer.
Los Angeles. Yeah.
Cheers. All right, here we are. We are at our 4th brewery on our Los Angeles road trip. Brandon, we are at Three Weavers Brewing, Inglewood, California. As they say in the song, Inglewood, always up to no good. Here we are, Three Weavers. What do you say?
Yeah, man, we're up to no good. It's a Sunday night.
That's right.
It's getting late. We're pushing the last call. But,
we made it by the skin of our teeth.
In town. Yeah, you're in town, and it's like, hey, man, we gotta, hit all the spots out in the area. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, we're out here at Three Weavers, Inglewood, home of a bunch of different spots.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I'm excited to be here because, I've had Three Weavers before, never been in person, and the brewery is really awesome. Huge beer garden, lots of lights. We saw it from down the street. I can see planes taking off. We're not too far from the LAX.
Right,
of course, where we were just at, El Segundo, not too far from here.
Yeah.
But great brewery. Really want to shout out the staff, very welcoming to us as we first walked in. And we're about to go through a flight of Three Weavers and try some interesting beers, right? The first beer that I see here is a dark and jammy.
Yeah. What's wild is crack into that. What's cool is Three Weavers, their core beers, they have like your very, I don't want to say like stereotypical, but like, the beers that you would expect. And then everything else is just like balls to the walls, crazy shit.
Yeah. Man, so much plum in that. So much plum. Wow, that's insane. You gotta really like sours to like that one. You gotta like plum.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, that's really sour. Yeah, it's like kind of almost like a blowout, but it's good.
Yeah, it definitely hits you pretty hard. I think we're going to get hit hard by the next one too that I'm looking at, but dark and jammy here at Three Weavers. If you like plum and you like sour and you want to pucker, hit this one up.
Yeah, for sure. Three Weavers is a really cool spot. Like, they have really big distribution out here in the area, out in the Los Angeles area. You and I were remarking when we walked in, like, the barrels are huge here.
Huge fermenters.
You can tell, like,
huge.
The produce here is really high. The yield is high.
They make a ton of beer here.
Yeah. And also what's really cool is, like, they tend to host a lot of the, like, beer festivals out here in the area, in the, like, kind of like West LA area. They have the space for it. So you'll see a lot throughout the year, different beer festivals going on, and they'll have, like, a lot of food vendors, a lot of different beer establishments show up. And, we were kind of talking before, a brewery that, we love, Crowns and Hops, also of Inglewood, California.
Hell yeah.
They do not have their tap room yet. They don't have, like, their physical location yet. So Three Weavers has been, like, a home to them, has been a partner to them. Everything that, like, a partner brewery could be, which, I know you have that with Creative Creature.
Yeah.
They kind of have, I don't want to say the same, but similar relationship that you guys have, Three Weavers and Crowns and Hops have, where they're, like, really helping Crowns and Hops get off the ground and hopefully, finally open that tap room sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see Crowns and Hops have a successful tap room opening. Amazing people behind the Crowns and Hops, and I'm really excited to see them take off, and I can't wait for their tap room to open. But I'm really excited to be here at Three Weavers for sure. That dark and jammy, it was dark and jammy. It tastes like jam, like a plum.
Yeah,
it takes me back to my childhood. We had a plum tree in front of our yard, and my brother and I used to sit there and eat plums like they're going out of style. And so what this tastes like to me, if you're familiar with plums, is when you bite into a plum that's not quite to the sweetness level yet, and it still has that tart to it.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes like. Yeah. Really good.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's not for the faint of heart. Like when it comes to like, like the sours, we were talking before, we had like a really nice Saison at El Segundo. And that one I feel like was perhaps a little bit more approachable. I think this one is a little less approachable, but not necessarily in a bad way.
No.
It's more for like someone that's more of like a sour
someone that's into it.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, it's more pungent. This one goes smacks you in your face.
It does. It gives you a little slap in the face. It really makes you think like, am I drinking a beer or am I drinking something totally different? Because it's pretty crazy. A lot of flavor, a lot of tartness to it. Really, really crazy. And I think we're going to get that same experience with this next one.
Yeah.
Which is the Cambodian Cowboy.
Cambodian Cowboy.
Okay.
Let me pull up some notes on it.
Let's see. All right. All right, well, this is definitely a heavily adjuncted stout for sure.
Yeah, it's a collab with Badenbong Barbecue and Wolf's Brew Coffee, which I'm not familiar with them, but sounds like
you're gonna get a lot of coffee out of this one.
Okay,
so go ahead and dive in and tell me what you think. Brandon is currently sipping on a Cambodian Cowboy at Three Rivers Brewing here in Inglewood, California. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, that's really interesting. It does have that. I mean, I've never had like a Cambodian coffee, but I've had obviously a Vietnamese coffee, very popular.
That's what I was going with. Is like I'm tasting like a Vietnamese coffee, like the one that they have at Coffee Bean, very famous.
Right. There's two different. There's two major different types of coffee beans.
Right.
There's Arabica and there's Robusto.
Yes.
Arabica is what most of us drink. That's what we're all mostly familiar with.
Yes.
By most people, it's considered more palatable. But Robusto is what they use in Vietnamese coffee, and it's pretty prominently grown and found in like Southern Asia.
Yeah.
So, it's Robusto coffee, specifically.
Okay.
Like Vietnamese coffee made with Robusto, which, if you're having a Vietnamese coffee, I would imagine it's made with Robusto beans.
Yeah.
And, it's good. It's good. It's got, get the coffee, creamy coffee. Okay, but I'm really curious. Hang on, I want to take another sip, and then I'm really curious on the style of this beer because I feel like it was marketed as a sour. Okay. I could be totally wrong on this.
Sour stout, I think.
Which sour stout? That's fucking nuts. Okay, they call it a coffee stout, which that feels pretty accurate.
So for me, similar to, I don't know if you, we talked about it before. We actually had it on the show. As Black is Beautiful. California Wild Ales made a Black is Beautiful, and it was a sour, wild fermented sour, but with stout ingredients.
Wow.
Similar. Not as sour, not as puckery sour, but similar. But this one really definitely gives you those notes of like a really high-end coffee.
Right.
You know, most stouts have coffee flavor, but this one's more like I just went to like Intelligentsia coffee shop in Hollywood, and I just dropped $10 on a small cup of coffee.
Stuck your pinky up in the air.
I did. My pinky's out for this one, for sure.
Yeah, it's good.
That's different.
It's good for the weather too. You know, we talked throughout this episode. It's a little bit of a cooler day here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I gotta get. So we have some friends here that are surrounding us, but I gotta get Jonathan to try this because I want to see what his take is. Hang on one second. All right. So Jonathan Pobre, a good friend of mine, he's helped us out with the podcast. Pobre, I want you to try this. This is called the Cambodian Cowboy.
Okay. Jonathan is the man.
I know you're a connoisseur of some coffees. Tell me what you think about that.
It's going down real smooth. It's like.
Does it taste like a high-end like coffee shop Vietnamese coffee to you?
I would say so. Yeah, that's just how I would describe that.
All right. Yeah.
See with me, like take a couple sips of this at a time.
There you go. It's good. It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, different. For me, it was a different experience for a stout, but I really enjoyed it. But I'm glad you enjoyed it too. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan's the man. Took some very nice photos of us.
Pobre's been around. He's actually helped us out. He was doing photography for us for quite a few episodes early on in season 1 when he was living in Southern California. He's now in Sacramento, but great dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations on his soon-to-be nuptials.
Yeah.
Just like yourself.
Yeah. He's got his date already planned out. He was telling me.
Yeah.
And,
420.
Yeah.
There's another thing that goes on 420. I don't know what it is, but something happens on 420.
I was trying to think of like a good pun. I couldn't get like yeah. Like obviously like wake and bake. Great
Absolutely.
pun. So I was like, yeah, what? Oh god, man. There's got to be something that rhymes with it.
Right.
All right. It didn't come to me soon enough. Thanks everyone for your patience.
There you
It didn't work out. Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Next beer. Expatriate.
Expatriate.
This is what they say is like their number one seller, right?
Yeah, I believe it's the number one seller. It's certainly the beer that comes to mind when I think of Three Weavers. This is certainly, this is like their, I guess it's their number one seller, but it's definitely like their most popular beer.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, West Coast
100%.
IPA.
Yeah. I mean, standard West Coast, 100%. Get some tropical notes in there.
Right. It tastes like
fruit.
like some mosaic with some of the 3 C's in there.
That's good.
Yeah. Very standard, but like I mean that in a good way.
Right.
It's
All right.
If you're hanging out here, at Inglewood, and it gets obviously very hot here in the summer, this is definitely a beer that I want to drink in the summer.
It's got some of that hoppiness, but not too bitter.
Right. Or like Inglewood has, for better and worse, it's a neighborhood, it's a community that's been pretty gentrified.
Yes.
Obviously, the Forum has been out here for a while, which is like a very popular sports and music concert arena.
You say the Forum, we'll just do a quick shout out here. Forum Liquor, one of the retailers of BeerDad's Brewworks, proudly carrying Father Figure IPA and Dad's Hawaiian Shirt Hazy Double IPA.
That's
right
awesome.
Across the street from SoFi Stadium in the Forum.
Shout out to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so and then obviously, SoFi was built, which, football arena and obviously, music arena, home of the Rams, home of the Chargers, which I know is your home team,
Let's
your
go Bolts,
team.
baby.
Yeah.
Viva los Chargers.
Yeah, and then obviously, Clippers have their stadium being built out here.
Yeah.
So you really see a lot of industry being built around Inglewood, and it's been interesting to see. Like, obviously, I think most people have mixed feelings about it because obviously gentrification is mostly a negative thing, or can have a negative connotation in a lot of ways. It takes away from a lot, but from a beer perspective, it's kind of cool because there's been a lot of breweries that have popped up around the Inglewood area that perhaps would not have been here.
Definitely a total different. Like I just remember coming down the main drag there by SoFi, and when we signed up Forum Liquor. And just looking around, I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like all these high-end like condominiums that went up by SoFi, and just the whole area, the vibe's different. When you think of Inglewood, like in the '90s, obviously we think of like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg songs.
Yeah.
rolling down the street and all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
Rolling
it's
down
totally
the
different.
street in my 6'4".
Yeah, it's different, right? Inglewood was always up to no good, but it's definitely brought in a lot of different culture and a lot of different things for the people of Inglewood, and that's what I love about Crowns and Hops is like, hey, they're bringing beer to the people that normally wouldn't drink craft beer, and I think that's awesome because different flavors, different perspectives, different ideas and things, and it's really cool for the craft beer industry to see that in this Inglewood area. So, yeah, 100%.
For sure. Yeah, what's cool too about Three Weavers in particular is that they've been huge, as I was kind of saying before, just huge supporters of Three Weavers, and just kind of giving them a home base,
right,
when they don't have a home base.
Yeah.
So, or until they have a home base.
Right.
So, yeah,
it's really cool. All right, well, let's dive into beer number 4 of this flight. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Is it till daylight, or what do we got going on here?
Yeah, BeerDad is trying to read my handwriting right now, and I apologize for the poor. I did. I did. And it's smart on the beer tenders part because they're like, all right, instead, let's just have these motherfuckers write their shit down, and we'll just pour this fucking shit instead of having to try and, yeah, it's definitely. I believe it's a stout. Let me try and pull it up here.
He's looking it up, and I'm gonna taste it. Ooh. If you are into a really rich and delicate boozy stout, this is the one for you. You're going to like this, Brandon. I think you're going to really enjoy this beer. I really do.
Yeah, so the beer is called 2 Minutes to Midnight. It's a stout.
It's good stuff.
Man, I can't bring up
really good stuff.
Okay. I'm going to try it out.
Dive in. Let me see what you think.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that.
I knew you would.
That's my favorite. That's for me, that's my perfect beer.
Yeah.
It's got like a Flanders almost style to it, like I don't know, like a Belgian or like Flanders style. That's amazing. That's like a boozy dessert. Like a trace
boozy dessert. Yeah,
boozy dessert.
I think I like where you're going there. It kind of reminds me of the Bahamas, some of the rum cakes that they're very famous for.
Right.
Like a chocolate rum cake or something like that, or remember those little chocolate liquor balls that used to have liqueur in them that you sneak from your parents?
Yeah.
Kind of tastes like that.
Yeah. God damn. That's good stuff. That's good on
I'm not gonna lie, that's good.
Chill night here in Los Angeles. Inglewood. Yeah.
I love the setup here. Really nice brewery. Got the huge beer garden.
Yeah.
The inside, huge fermenters that you can see. Very impressive. They got a nice to-go box so you can order stuff. But really, really cool brewery. I think it's great. You definitely got to come check out Three Weavers Brewing here in Inglewood. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure. One of the cool things, kind of like I was saying before, if you're out in the area, I recommend just checking on social media or on their website if they have any events going on.
Absolutely.
Because they have a lot. They are because of their space, because of their geography and how much kind of just space they control. They have a lot of beer festivals out here in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
A lot of Los Angeles-based or just even Southern California-based breweries come out here for those festivals.
Yeah.
So, if you're able to hit one of those up, it's a really cool way to try out a bunch of different breweries.
Right.
So Three Weavers is a place to keep an eye on. Beyond having great beer and being a really cool scene, they're one of those host breweries for the festivals, the events.
I could see it. Large venue space. That's
exactly.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yep.
I can picture Beer Fest and different things going on here. That's really, really cool brewery to visit. Los Angeles area right by LAX. So if you fly in and you're staying in the LAX area, several selections. You know, we were at El Segundo earlier, not too far from LAX, as well as this.
Right.
Is kind of there. It's like LAX is in between these two spots, so check them out both.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, those are your two spots for sure. Yeah, El Segundo Brewing, Three Weavers Brewing. Also out in the Inglewood area, to shout them out, Tortuga Brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in El Segundo, Upshifts Brewing is also really worth. Yeah, like I was saying, yeah.
So we're into number 5 here, and this is Hop Garden, which was recommended by the beer tender. It is a hard hop water. So we just had a hop water at El Segundo. I want to shout those guys out.
Yep.
Really good, refreshing in between beers. That is a non-alcoholic hop water. This one has alcohol, and it's a hard hop water.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm going to check it out. That's definitely a different experience for sure.
Wow.
If you're an IPA lover, you're going to love this. So tell me what you think.
All right, I'm going in.
Hop Garden, Three Weavers. Brandon's going in.
Oh, yeah.
It's good?
Wow. Very floral.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Floral,
crazy, right?
and then it goes into like a mango territory. I got floral to mango.
Wow. Yeah, maybe mango right on the rind, right on the seed, where it gets a little more bitter at the end, but still has a little sweetness.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. It's refreshing. That's like right up the BeerDad's alley for like lawnmower drink, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's drink this and tell the wife I'm drinking water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Hop Garden.
No, it's water.
That's good stuff.
Wow.
Absolutely good stuff. Wow. All right. So Three Weavers, man, we had some crazy stuff here. We got Dark and Jammy, Cambodian Cowboy, Expatriate, 2 minutes till midnight, or daylight, sorry, and Hop Garden. A big mix of insane beers, and that's kind of what the beer tender had told us when we first got here. Like, they got a lot of weird shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at it. I think that's really cool. Cool experience for somebody to come in that's looking for a variety and wants to try a bunch of different things. Everything that we had here is way different than the other.
Right.
You know, you don't have like 4 or 5 just straight up beers. And, you know, an IPA, a Pilsner, a Stout, and an Amber. You know, this is like a mix of all kinds of crazy stuff. So they're doing some wild shit here at Three Weavers. So you definitely got to come check it out.
Yeah. Shout out to them. You know what's crazy is feels like Grandma trekked her ass all the way out here. She caught a flight.
Yeah.
Trekked her ass all the way out to LAX.
Yeah. I mean, she ain't, she ain't for the weak of heart. She'll go anywhere that we want to go, right?
Most certainly.
Yeah, so let's bring Grandma on out and let her close out the show, because Grandma's been riding along, enjoying all these fine Los Angeles County beers.
Los Angeles.
It's been great. 4 breweries in one trip. Nice little road trip. Thank you, Brandon, for chauffeuring, driving Miss BeerDad, Miss Daisy. Appreciate it. But yeah, let's close out the show with Grandma. Cheers, everybody. Three Weavers Brewing, closing out the show. Cheers.
Cheers.
They also practice by drinking the urine of a ram.
The what?
They drink ram's piss.
Because of the pH balance?
No, because if you can drink ram's piss, fuck, you can drink almost anything.
She said fuck.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker, quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. My belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. Beer. I could really use it. Beer. Beer. I can't remember how much I have had. I drank a 12-pack with my dad.